All right, hello. This is Sung Park with another weekly update for AddPicto. I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. I'm just going to go to slideshow. All right. Oh man. So in this update, I thought I would just go into a little bit more detail about the process of getting your add-on published to the Google Workspace Marketplace. I know that I shared this last week, but I thought that wasn't as descriptive to show you the pains of what the actual process is. So I decided to create more of a path and go through step by step of what you would have to do. So let's say you wanted to have your Google add-on, Google Workspace add-on added to the marketplace. This is the steps. So the first and foremost is you would use app scripts to develop your add-on. Let's assume that you've already done that and you are now ready to go to submit your add-on. So the first thing you're going to have to do is prepare everything for submission. So that means you're going to have to remember the scopes that was used in creating your add-on. That's going to be important. You're going to have to remember the client ID. That's also going to be important. And then finally, you're going to have to remember the version number. That's also going to be important. So the way you would do that is in the app scripts, you would have a file called appscript.json. In there, you'll see all of the various scopes that you used. You would have to make sure you copy that information. Additionally, when you want to test so that you can submit for OAuth consent, you would have to then go to run and test as add-on, and then you would use that add-on to create a video. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then finally, you would also want to create a version, and that's under manage versions. So you have all three of those information, and now you're ready to go. So the next step is to create a YouTube video. Actually, it doesn't have to be necessarily a YouTube video, but you would have to create a video and just upload it to YouTube. At least that's what I did. And then just have that video unlisted. And that will be important. So in that video, make sure that you show the scopes that are being used and explain how they're being used. Be sure to show the OAuth process and the client ID. And then finally, once you have done all of that and you've uploaded it, and make sure you have a copy of that URL. So one thing to note is I've listed on the top here all of the various important things to remember and highlighted them. This is the same colors, and you'll see why in a bit. All right, so you've now created your YouTube video in order to get authorization from Google. What is your next step? Well, you have to go to console.cloud.google.com and go to the OAuth consent screen. So again, under the console page, there will be a site, I should say. There's a page called OAuth consent screen. And in that screen is where your first step to getting listed in the marketplace begins. You then have to fill in all of the information. And again, I mentioned that this is where it'll be important. You would enter in the scopes. You would have to enter in all the various information about your add-on. And one of that information is going to be your add-on name. And that's going to be important later on. And then you also then copy and paste the URL of the video showing your consent screen and all of that things that you collected previously. So the scopes, client ID, and then that's where you submit it. Okay, got that so far? All right, let's move on. So once you have done that, you then wait once you have submitted that. And if everything goes well, then you are approved and you're good to go to the next step. But if you are not approved, then you have to go back and figure out what you did wrong and correct that thing, and then repeat the whole process over again. But let's say for the sake of argument that everything went smoothly, waiting expiration of time, you've gotten approval for the scopes and so forth. All right, now comes to the ad configuration. So again, it's still under the cloud site and the console site. You have to go to a different section. And that section is you have to go to the Google Cloud Platform, enable APIs and services, and then go to Google Workspace Marketplace SDK. And then from that page, there's a tab called App Configuration. In that app configuration, you have to, again, enter in all the various information, specifically the scopes and the version number and the workspace that you want this add-on to be published. Okay, once you have done that, then you have to go to a different tab in the Google Workspace Marketplace SDK under Store Listings. And in that Store Listings, then you have to enter in additional information, one of which is the add-on name. And again, it's very important that you get the add-on name to be exactly the same as it was in the OAuth consent screen. So if you want it to be descriptive, so in my case, I figured this out because I had AddPicto in the OAuth consent screen, but I had AddPicto dash mask images under the store listings, and then it got rejected because the names are different. Things that you learn doing this. And again, let's say you do all of that and then you submit. Once you submit, then you wait again. And if everything gets approved, then congratulations, you're done. But if you get rejected, you have to then figure out exactly what you did wrong and then correct that thing and then resubmit. So again, I highlighted all of these things to show you that the scopes needs to match in the app scripts, in the YouTube video that you will upload, in the OAuth consent screen, as well as the app configuration screen. Your client ID needs to match in these two locations, app scripts, YouTube. The version number needs to be in the app scripts as well as in the app configuration. And then the add-on name needs to be the same in the OAuth consent screen as well as the store listing. So there's a lot of different locations you have to enter in the exact same information. And again, it's manually done. So the more locations where you have to enter things in manually, you've introduced more instances of human error. But let's move on. So once you've done that, and let's assume that you got approved, then congratulations, you've finally done it. Your add-on is now listed in the marketplace. But wait, what happens if you wanted to update your add-on? Well, then the first question is did you add any additional scopes? Well, let's go through the two scenarios. Let's say that you did not add any scopes and you just want to make some enhancements to your add-on. Then great, you are in the easy path. So the first thing you would do is go to your app scripts and get a new version number. Again, you kind of saw how that was done. And after you've done that, then you go to this app configuration screen in the console of Cloud, and then update your version number, and then you save your changes. Once you've done that, boom, you're done. It's that easy. So that's great. So thanks, Google, for making that process easy. But what happens if you are adding new scopes? Well, that means you would have to start from the very beginning and restart the whole process. And in the process of doing so, when you are in the OAuth consent screen to get approval, your add-on gets unpublished. That means no one has access to your add-on as you're going through the process of getting new scopes approved, so that then you can then resubmit into the store listings. So it makes no sense to me that in each step, if something gets screwed up, if you do something by human error, or if you want to add a new scope, essentially the marketplace unpublishes the previous approved add-on. So it's either all or nothing. So there is no version where that was approved that can be live. And then as you're trying to get a new version approved with new scopes, that you can't have both. It's one or the other. It's all or none. And so it's a little frustrating, because right now this is the process we're in. So we previously had an add-on that was approved in the marketplace. We've added additional scopes. We are now trying to get the scopes to be approved, and in the process of doing so, we are unpublished. So please, Google, help me help you, or help us, the add-on developers, to help you. Because ultimately, if you make the process easier, reduce the complexities, reduce human error, which again, could be easy to do. So why not, as we enter in the information once, why not just pull that information and then pre-populate everything, thusly reducing human error? And by helping us, it would essentially allow us to add additional functionality into the Google Workspace, which in turn would make your product better, because we're enhancing functionality that either A, isn't there, or isn't as good. So which means you don't have to then spend time and effort adding additional things that your customer base may want. So again, if you happen to be working for Google in the Workspace Marketplace, or if you know someone, please ask them to help us lowly add-on developers, so that we could help them and their end users. All right, that's my weekly update. Thanks so much. And I will talk to you next week. And hopefully next week, I will have much, much better news on the update of the add-on.